and welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with
Dan.
Chris.
And Lee.
Monaco Week.
Yes.
Yeah.
The jewel in the Formula One crown.
The most boring race on the calendar.
Oh, I don't know. Sochi is challenging it.
That's a very, very good point.
And it's not the jewel in the crown anymore because there was that Jaguar that had the jewel on the nose and then that went into the barriers and went missing.
But did it go into a crown?
No, it went into a crowd.
Okay.
Yeah, as did one of the marshals, never to be seen again.
Absolutely. No, it's one of the original circuits on the calendar.
Yes.
Okay, the layout's changed a little bit over the years. A little bit.
Roadworks.
Yeah.
I won on it last night on Project Cars 2
Yeah.
in Formula X.
Cool.
I really need to start playing that game again.
I need to buy it. I want to buy it on my console because I was just playing on my Mac in here to see what that was like playing games.
And?
Pretty good.
Oh, right, okay. So it's good for mixing podcasts and playing games on.
All round good.
The amount of
multimedia
money you
machine.
spent on that Mac, it should actually make the tea as well.
This is true.
But it doesn't.
Doesn't. No.
We're going off track again, which is hard to do in Monaco.
Very much so.
Unless you're playing F1 2017, when I actually managed to lose a lap for exceeding track limits. How? Where?
Exactly. Unless you jump the chicane after the swimming pool.
No, didn't do that. Apparently you can shortcut the hairpin.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
It's not a very shortcut.
No, but it still disqualifies you.
They'll disqualify certain points on Monaco on the game as well if you
Touch the barrier.
Yeah, because there's certain parts of the barrier where if you just fuck it into them, it's quicker than taking the corner. So, is it at the top of Saint Devote?
Yeah.
I think if you bang into that there,
Oh, if you do a Villeneuve.
yeah, it'll
If you do reveal nerve. What, release a song?
No, that's next week.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah,
next
we'll talk.
week, yeah.
We'll talk about that next week. In the meantime, we have some news.
We do.
It's Monday, and news has happened today.
Which is rare for Formula One. Regular listeners will know news happens on a Tuesday.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks on the trot. We've actually got that day's news in, and this one involves McLaren as well.
To be fair, so apart from that news, but some of the news we have before could be complete fucking lies.
Although, to be honest, last Monday's news happened on Tuesday. Technically, it's just that we were recording that
Yeah.
late.
Yeah.
It was gone 1 o'clock when I got home last week.
Not again to this week.
No. No, it's still daylight, so we're still good. Right, McLaren have a new, is it 10% shareholder?
Yeah, 10%. If we're going to go down the sort of Dragon's Den route for this, it was I'll give you £200 million for 10% of your business. So, what? 200 million for 10%?
That's very kind of someone. What are they looking to get in return?
Well, that's the question. Nicholas Latifi's dad is the new shareholder in McLaren. Now, this has set alarm bells going all
Or as
around
I
the Formula
think
One
now
world.
Lando Norris refers to him as that prick.
Well, there's been. Did you say just before we start recording, Dan, that Andrew Benson from the BBC?
Andrew Benson from the BBC says that sources say this investment is nothing to do with Nicholas Latifi's racing career.
I've noticed Andrew Benson from the BBC says lots of things.
Yeah. Now it might not be anything to do with Nicholas Latifi's racing career. However, if
I'm
he's-
sure Lawrence Stroll's investment in Williams is nothing to do with Lance Stroll's racing career either.
And this has very little to do with Nicholas Latifi because technically it's his father, was it Michael, who has put the money in, but he's put it in from his company, which is called Nidatla. Nicholas Darren Latifi.
okay, Nidala.
Yeah, the name of...
I'm not saying it because I could get myself in lots of trouble accidentally saying that.
Yeah,
Is
you,
that-
you probably would.
Sounds like it's almost an anagram of Nicky Lauda as well, isn't it?
If you take some letters away and add some others.
A Brazilian footballer surname.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, true, yeah. No, Brazilian footballers don't have surnames. They're just born with one name. That's how they know they're going to be footballers.
It's just a Brazilian footballer's
Yeah,
name.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yes, the company owned by Michael Latifi have put £200 million into McLaren, just as a part of the company. Nothing to do with wanting to put Force India reserve driver and GP2 F2 competitor
Well,
Nicholas Latifi in a McLaren.
As a well-known conspiracy theorist of this table, I think the best thing to do is to
Oh,
examine
hang on.
the
Microphone safe tinfoil.
yes, is
Kitchen
to examine the evidence. Is there anywhere on the grid where something like this has happened before?
Let's take a stroll down the grid and see.
Yeah, and it hasn't gone well.
No, but to be fair, Nicholas Latifi is not a bad driver, it would appear.
From what we've seen so far.
What was it you said he left Renault in the Great Exodus?
Yeah, the great exodus the great winter exodus of Renault, where Robert Kubica, Oliver Rowland, and Nicholas Latifi all left Renault to go and join other teams.
Let my drivers pass.
But I mean, it worked out well for Jack Aitken, who ended up with the reserve Renault driver seat. But it surprises me that that Renault let Latifi go so easily. They may not have had a say in it, but that Latifi is then suddenly in Force India, and now his dad owns a bit of McLaren.
He's getting in Formula One somewhere, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. It would seem that, again, going back to the point that it might not have anything to do with Nicholas's racing career, that Michael has bought this stake in McLaren. I cannot believe for 1 second that when the conversation comes up on the board of directors about what they're going to do for drivers, he's not going to go, well, I know someone who's free and available and willing to jump in a car at any given moment.
How much did Stroll's dad put into Williams?
So $30 million for the first year, $30 million for the first year,
And then 20 million after that.
$20 million per year after that. Yeah, I
Right.
think it was.
So that buys you a Formula One seat.
And Nicholas Latifi's dad just put $200 million into a company
Yep.
that owns a Formula One team.
Yeah.
But this is McLaren Group, so it's the whole McLaren technology operation. So this is
The road
the
cars,
supercars, the
applied
McLaren
technologies. Yeah. Catering even, McLaren Catering, which I don't know if that would be an interesting place to be or not.
Imagine having the type of money where
McLaren
you can
Catering.
invest 200 million.
McLaren Catering, and this is the guy that owns the third biggest food company in Canada.
Oh, maybe that's got more to do with it. Who knows? McLaren Catering taking a data-driven approach to how food tastes. I've no idea. But the interesting thing...
Data-driven approach by Eric Burley is good. It's all good.
Not to name drop too much, but McLaren Catering does look incredible, because when we were in the sort of holding area while we were waiting for our taxis to turn up when we were in the McLaren Technology Centre, the quality of food going in and out of that meeting room,
Yeah.
it looked fantastic.
None of that food went in or out of us.
Well, no, you weren't sick then, were you? You were sick when you went to Mercedes.
I was sick at Mercedes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that food
still
looked good as well.
That
But
food looked really
you
good.
you were throwing up, and I couldn't eat any of it because everything apart from the desserts were full of peppers.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
dear.
I had some nuts.
Get some nuts. But yeah, obviously the conspiracy theorists, Liam included, are going to start saying that Nicholas Latifi's clearly going to get a McLaren seat. He's clearly ahead of Lando Norris now because of the monetary investment into McLaren. I'm against
I think
that.
that's jumping the gun.
Yeah, I'm against that because I think McLaren already know what their driver lineup for 2019 is.
As I said before the podcast, I don't believe that they're going to let Lando slip by because
No,
he looks
no.
fucking phenomenal.
Do you know what? I think this is showing signs of. I think we'll see Latifi driving a McLaren next year.
Third
On
driver.
the occasional Friday. And when Fernando goes off and does IndyCar races that clash with Grand Prix weekends, he's going to get the nod ahead of Stoffel, who won't be with the team anymore.
It's worth pointing out as well that Lando did an incredible lap in the test in Spain on a tyre that was harder than for the McLaren test, not the Pirelli test. On a tyre that was harder than everybody else was using, he managed to finish like fourth
I
fastest.
just thought a thought here as well. Can we wrap this in with our with the Fernando Alonso stuff as well?
We can. There is a sort of silly season story that I've sort of put later on, but we can tie that in now because a Spanish website,
Yeah, Diario Gol.
which nobody
Which
believes.
sounds Welsh.
Well, to be fair, I'm starting to believe it, and I've just thought of another thing, another reason why it doesn't seem like a bad idea.
Let's be clear. This is all wild speculation.
Conjecture and speculation currently, of which I tread very carefully. But Lee, you have an idea.
So the Spanish newspaper has basically said that next year Fernando Alonso is going to Haas to replace Romain Grosjean.
This year, I think it said, didn't it?
No,
Some,
I think it
some
was
point
the-
during
I
this
thought it was-
year.
No, it was he will sign at
Yeah.
some point this year for next year.
Now, I thought, like everyone else around this table, it's fucking ridiculous. Stupid.
No, I thought about it and I thought, okay.
Right. What this site is actually saying is the thought of Alonso driving for Haas next year isn't out of the question.
Right.
What they've done is speculated and put two and two together. Alonso is, as far as we know, under contract to McLaren for next year. Grosjean looks to be out on his arse. They were just saying Haas would be the best place for him to go.
Oh, right. I read a different article because I read the Express article, didn't I? It said Alonso tipped to
Yeah.
Haas.
Yeah. Since then, an accurate translation has been done by someone that isn't the Daily Express. They took out all the it's going to be the hottest summer on record and the coldest summer on record bits of the Daily Express because that's all they usually do anyway.
Weather bomb incoming.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. And Princess Diana. That's why they're known as the Daily X Princess.
That's good.
But what the Spanish websites actually said is that it's not out of the question that Alonso could go to Haas next year after Grosjean gets binned.
Right. My theory on this, I'll wrap up dead quick. Red Bull get Honda engines next year. Red Bull are going to be mid-grid at best. Renault are already backing down on how quick their updates are going to come this year, updated engines. Alonso loses faith in McLaren.
Yeah.
If you tie all that together, I think Haas have a really good chance of being at least third best car on the grid next year, like a realistic chance. Because when you look where they've come in 3 years to where they are, I think they can be proper podium contenders on a race-to-race basis next year.
Don't think Renault or McLaren might have a better chance of out-developing Haas?
I don't know because it would appear it depends what the next Renault engine's like, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because at the minute it doesn't seem. Like, I thought Renault would be higher up the grid than it is this year. Renault thought Renault would be higher up the grid than it is this year. So they don't look to be bothering. If they're not bothering this year, they're not bothering next year. I don't think Alonso wants to leave Formula One. I think he just wants to be in something. Well, like he said in his when he had a reasonable race in his new McLaren, he said, "Now we can fight."
Yeah.
I think that's all he wants. Obviously, it's not all he wants. He wants another world
He
championship.
wants to win.
But he wants to win. But he wants to at least have the chances to win. But what you just said there about Lando, because the last test he had in a McLaren, was it Hungary?
That was his first test.
Yeah,
Last year, was it?
Yeah, when we were speaking to him at McLaren, he was saying the time adjusted with the tyres. He was like 0.3 off Alonso's pole time on his fastest time, which he was reasonably happy with.
Yeah.
Maybe Alonso doesn't want to be in a team with this guy.
With another up-and-coming
Yeah.
driver who could possibly outperform him.
Yeah. Bigger stuff.
But being in a McLaren against a young British up-and-coming driver's never turned out badly for him before.
Never. But I think the thing is, Fernando has done such a brilliant job of being at the back of the grid and somehow has boosted his own brand and stock while doing it. So if he was to all of a sudden get his doors blown off by Lando Norris, all that work of building this Alonso brand and legacy that he's done over the last few years would fucking fall apart.
Yeah, and he's worked hard enough to get Kimoa plastered all over the
Yeah.
McLaren.
Hats off to him for that.
Oh, that was a joke. Oh, swing and a miss. So, I can see
I
it.
thought it was good.
My mom thinks I'm cool.
We're back to that catfish reference of hottest guy in Maine again, aren't we?
But I do. I can see it happening. He clearly doesn't want to leave Formula One, and he seems to be like a quick Rubens Barrichello at the minute. Yeah, he still wants to be there.
He's proven that he's still got the talent, the pace, and the hunger to succeed if he's given the car.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, but if Alonso jumped ship, I wouldn't mind betting that McLaren comes good, and all of a sudden Haas find themselves in a very difficult situation.
Oh yeah, you could be right, but
But what we've seen with Haas in the past couple of years is they haven't gone forward through the season.
no, they
that's
start
a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they
But-
start off okay, and then this season they start off very, very well. Currently looking like the fourth best team out there at the moment. They probably won't be there at the end of the season.
They've also never had a driver to direct the team.
I was just about to say that because if you look at the Haas lineups for the last 2 years, they haven't
Dog shit.
got anyone there
Yeah.
that can give the same level as feedback, even from simulator work, as Alonso can. Because, I mean, Gutierrez.
Yeah.
uh,
No, look at Kevin Magnussen. I don't think Kevin Magnussen is all of a sudden like upped himself like 5 or 6 drivers up the pecking order of drivers.
He's just got.
I think he's got a decent car. So I think he's putting that car probably naturally where it would be.
Yeah, and even Mika Hakkinen has come out and said, "Look, Kevin Magnussen could be a much better driver if he was less aggressive."
Yeah, well, look at all the conversations we had about Williams for the last couple of years, where we said we don't know how good that car is. I think that stands with the Haas. I don't think we know how good that car is.
And jokes aside about the way that Grosjean's finished the last 2 races,
Yeah.
he's reverted to Lotus Grosjean,
Yeah, absolutely.
which is there's only one pedal in this car, and that's the accelerator. I'm using something else as a brake, and it's not working for him.
The other good thing as well is Haas isn't a poor company. You know, it's a big motorsport company.
It
They can
is,
probably
but,
afford an
They
Alonso
can
if they
afford
want.
Alonso.
but their Formula One operations are much smaller than you would think.
Yeah, that is because they outsource everything. I can't remember where
Scarbs was saying that was on the show last week.
Yeah, everything is outsourced to different countries, and the Haas headquarters in Oxfordshire, not Brackley, the other place where we got the train from, Banbury.
Yeah.
That is just a logistics centre, and that's just where everything's tied together.
Yeah.
You know, it's like as good as Mahindra Racing are in Formula E.
Yeah.
Their headquarters is in a business centre in the middle of Milton Keynes.
We walked past it.
We walked past it. We didn't actually realise.
It's not even. That's the thing.
It's an anonymous looking office. It could be a solicitor's.
Yeah, the place where the racing car, where they make the racing cars, isn't even on the ground floor. It's not even a ground floor office.
It hasn't been thought through, has it?
Piece by piece in the lift.
Yeah.
Put it together. It fits piece by piece back in the lift.
Yeah.
But like, it's just I'd only thought about it because since the Alonso rumours of just how like on an upward curve Haas have been. I think with all these the new rules as well coming in, like the less aero on the front wings and stuff like that, which is gonna like Christian Horner turned around and said, "Oh, it's gonna cost the teams hundreds of millions of dollars."
So it's not.
Fucking bullshit. Surely it's going to save them money because they're not going to be putting all that R&D into aero and wings.
Yeah, because
what he
it's very
means is
limited.
it's going to cost them a load of money because they paid the best aerodynamicists in the fucking world billions of pounds.
Yeah.
I think what he means is we don't want this.
Yes.
I would go with what Dan just said. Yeah, it's clear that a lot of the top teams will not be so keen on the rule changes, and the lower teams will like them because it gives the chance to level out that playing field again.
So does that make Haas an even more attractive offer next year if these rules might make things a bit more even?
And also the ties to America. Does that, with Alonso possibly wanting to go and do something in the States eventually, does that help him out if he wants to go and drive NASCAR for
do
Haas?
Haas have a good car in Indy?
They don't have a car in Indy.
They have a car in NASCAR.
They do NASCAR.
Could they do Indy if they wanted to?
Alonso's already said he wants to do NASCAR. I'm sure he said that in the past.
Did he not just say he wants a fast car?
You might say, I want no car. Nothing to do with this Honda engine. Probably something along those lines. I think it's. I still think at the moment it's quite far fetched, and as we said
it's
before,
proper silly season talk. Don't get me wrong.
and as Dan said as well, this is all massive conjecture and speculation, and it doesn't really. Well, not even doesn't really. I mean, there is no weight behind this at all.
I'm literally playing Jordan's advocate with everything I'm saying.
Yeah, Jordan's advocate because Eddie Jordan is the devil.
Yeah.
Not Jordan the Katie Price.
No, I wouldn't
You're not
accept that
being
fucking case. Jesus.
You're not being an advocate for
God, no.
Okay, fine. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. But I don't see Fernando going anywhere else at the moment.
I mean, I guess a lot of it depends on these McLaren IndyCar rumours.
That they are going to have an Andretti based.
Well, it's either going to be
team for a full
Andretti.
season.
Well, it's either going to be Andretti or Rahal Letterman.
I don't think that matters. I don't think it matters to Alonso. Alonso is Fernando Alonso. He could leave McLaren and go and drive fucking Sauber. And if he wanted to drive an Indy car, he would drive an Indy car and he'd be in one of the top teams for the Indy 500. It doesn't have to be a McLaren, to be perfectly honest. The reason McLaren had that McLaren Andretti in Indianapolis is because Alonso was going there with or without them.
And Zach Brown thought, we can do something here.
Oh, Zach Brown thought, fucking hell, we're going to look really stupid if he has to go off to IndyCar and drive for a different team just to get some success.
Yeah.
Whereas this can be, when you look at... Because that was all about, for that one weekend, people spoke positively about McLaren as a group for once.
Until the Honda engine let go.
Until the Honda engine let go.
Moment's silence for the Honda engine.
Pour one out from a dead homie.
Of course, it is the Indy 500 coming up this weekend, and considerably less Formula One interest this year than last year.
Yeah.
Takuma Sato.
Yeah, there are still some ex-Formula One drivers taking part, but there are no...
And Max Chilton.
Yeah, no current Formula One drivers. With the loss of the Alonso effect from last year, I think will have, for us Europeans anyway, have a bit of a detrimental effect on not just the coverage, but also the build up to it as well.
We'll still be watching it.
Yeah, still be on, still be eyes on it.
Yeah, don't know whether we're going to live blog it or not. Tell you what, let us know if you want us to do a live IndyCar blog this weekend.
What time's it on?
I think it starts at something like 5:20 UK time Sunday.
I might watch it, I might dip in.
But yeah, let us know. Drop us a tweet on @3legs4wheels or Facebook message if you want us to do the live indie blog like we did last year, and we will try and do it again if enough people want it.
Otherwise, you can just chat to us on the.
Otherwise, we'll be about on social media.
Yeah, just chat to us on social media as the race is ongoing. But
and as it's the annual barbecue round at mine for the start of the TT fortnight, we'll be gradually getting drunker during the day.
Probably
Drink responsibly.
Most likely.
Yeah, you should see the size of the new beer coolers that Sean got in this weekend. Just for the barbecue. We're going to have to put lots of beer in them.
Oh, God. What a shame.
We can live with that. Right, next thing I've got in the running order. Valtteri Bottas. He wants a 2-year deal, and I think the general agreement around this table is, he deserves it.
I think he's been sensational this year.
From this year's driving, he does. But would you give someone a 2-year deal based on
3 races? Or 4 races?
On a few good races, and then a year of maybe not getting the best out of the car?
I think I'd be willing to give him a 1-year deal with an option or something like that.
Well, this is the thing, because he's had 1-year deals.
He's on his second 1-year deal with Mercedes.
Yeah, and he says that it's too unsettling to have a 1-year, to have all
I
these.
can understand that.
1 year, because he doesn't know where his future's going to be. So give me a 2-year deal, and I'll respond with performance, because I'll know where I am for the next 2 years. And
Well, if you can do the performance, then do it without the 2-year deal.
I was just going to say,
the thing is, last season he wasn't terrible. He had a slump mid-season, and he started off...
Which happened at the same time as Hamilton having a massive boost mid-season.
Now, a lot of our listeners will be of the opinion, and quite rightfully so, that we were maybe a little bit harsh on Valtteri Bottas last year.
I don't think we were.
because he slumped. And right, okay, fair enough. Rosberg probably wouldn't have slumped at the same time as Bottas did, but don't forget that was Bottas's first season in that car. We said pre-season this year that he had to really prove his worth and couldn't be Bottas from the middle of last year. And so far, we're already into the European season, and he's looking pretty good.
Yeah. But he has had a very yo-yo career.
He has had a
there's-
yo-yo career.
There's
yeah.
nothing. There's nothing to say. I stand by what I said. I think he's been sensational this year because he's been a match for Hamilton not only in the race but in qualifying as well, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
no small feat.
He's admitted himself that there were some weekends last year he was off the pace. And his opinion this year, and I think, and again, it's one that I'd agree with, is he's not doing that this year. And he's,
But that
yeah,
like I
he's,
said about
he's
yo-yo,
matching.
He might just be at the top of the string at the minute, and a yo-yo always ends up going back down again. So he might just be on one of his little spikes, and all we know is, for all we know, what we've seen in the past is he's gonna. There's words in here, fucking somewhere, Lee, and I'm gonna get them out. What we've seen in the past is him have a couple of good races and then drop off.
Yeah. But to quote, I think is what you said in last week's podcast, was he could be leading the World Championship.
I would argue he should be leading the World
Yeah.
Championship.
Had he sent it up the inside of Sebastian Vettel in that last lap on Bahrain.
I don't. And if he had it, if his
and
tyre
Tyre
hadn't
hadn't
got-
blown out in Azerbaijan.
he'd have been leading the World Championship. I'd have had an extra £100.
Yeah.
Bell
Yeah.
end.
And he could have afforded to finish, sat second behind Lewis in Spain.
Yeah.
And that would have been fine. Valtteri Bottas could be leading the World Championship.
Yeah.
But then again, so could a lot of other people. If Valtteri continues on this current form, absolutely sign him up for 2 years. I don't see why you wouldn't.
I don't see who else you put in the car.
Ocon's not ready.
No, Ocon's not looking great, if I'm honest.
George Russell is doing really well in F2.
But you're not sticking him straight in the Mercedes, are you?
No, you're going to put him in a Williams or a Force India first, aren't you? Let's be honest.
I put him in a Force India over a Williams because,
Because you want to know how good he is.
yeah, that at the moment with the way that Williams are putting a young driver in there will kill their career.
Yeah.
That's
Sergei Sorokin.
no, I said driver.
See, that's unfair because Sorokin might be all right. We just don't know.
Yeah. This is the thing, like, people keep saying about pay drivers. Sorokin wasn't a bad GP2 driver, so...
His racing, if you watched it, was better than his results would suggest it should have been.
So he deserves a go. I think Dan was right, actually, when it comes to Stroll even. He could have possibly been a fine Formula One driver, but he wasn't baked enough.
He was there a year too early,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, I mean, moving up from European F3 to F1, so it's too risky.
It worked for Verstappen.
Yeah, I mean, you see,
It's worked for Verstappen and it worked for Jenson Button. Was Jenson British Formula 3? But moving from F3 to F1, it's too big a jump.
but look at what Mercedes do with George Russell. He's at the races that he can be at. Where F2 is a support race. He's in his Mercedes gear and he stands next to Toto Wolff quite often in the garage.
But he's also at the races where F2 isn't.
When F2's not on, and he's available to make it to the race, he's there. He's in the garage. He's learning. I get the feeling that's what, that should be the way that Formula One drivers make it into the sport. There'd be nothing wrong with hiring, a driver as a young driver, and just being like, yeah, that's fine. Come and stand in our garage in team weight. You're the official reserve driver. Come and stand in the garage at every race that you can. Learn what goes on around for a year. Do some simulator work. Drive the car in a couple of FP1s and in-season tests.
Listen to the feedback that the drivers give
Yeah.
when they're doing the setup.
And then we'll see where we are at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's just a shame that, because it's harder to get in an F1 car now, super license-wise, because the FIO made it tougher. You can't just hand over a wad of cash and get a driver like you used to be able to.
Pedro Diniz.
Yeah. Taki Inui.
Yeah.
Anyone that drove for Super Aguri apart from Takuma Sato.
Anthony Davidson. He didn't hand over a wad of cash, did he?
No, but no, he came with the engine. But I'm generalising here. But the crap pay drivers that we've had in the past, Ricardo Rossit,
Yeah.
prime example. So it's harder, it's harder now. You've got to be a better driver to be able to get in the car. Unfortunately, there's now less opportunities to get in the car because of the lack of testing. Because it used to be that teams ran basically a completely separate testing setup. And the third driver was out most weeks, and it was usually a young driver, and they were learning the ropes. By the time they got their break into the big boy part of the team or another team, they were ready, and they'd got plenty of F1 experience because they do 5 times as many laps in a season as your race driver does.
I'd also argue that it's, especially from when Vettel came up, for instance, Formula One's a different beast now than it was in like 2007, 2008. Now you've got these bigger, like more aggressive, faster cars again.
Yeah.
Whereas when the young drivers were coming in and like Red Bull were fucking just firing people through Formula One.
I think from about 2000, wasn't it, where you had Raikkonen coming in as the youngest ever driver and Vettel coming in as the youngest ever driver.
Yeah.
Alonso as well was.
But I think there was that bit in the middle as well where it got pretty cool to try and have to get young people in after Vettel, because everyone was looking for the next Vettel.
Yeah.
But I think it was easier to make the step from F3 or GP2 or something then, because we were in that middle ground, weren't we, where people were saying, well, actually, the F2 cars aren't that much slower than the Formula 1 cars.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
Formula
it was
1
Alonso saying that.
But Formula 1 was too fucking slow at that point. Formula
I know what
1
you're saying.
it slipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was an easier sport in general.
Well,
I don't think it's as easy now.
F2 now is essentially a simplified version of what Formula 1 was 2009 through to about 2012-ish, 2013. That's essentially what F2 is.
Yeah, I mean, the speeds of the F2 cars are comparable to F1 cars in the wet.
Yeah.
Don't know if you've actually noticed that.
No, I haven't. No.
They've fucked the F2 racing as well. I mean, F2 is still pretty good, but it's getting mighty processional at times with all the extra aero.
I wouldn't say that. Just watch Artem Markelov.
Yeah, one race.
Yeah, Mark.
He's done
George
it
Russell as well.
2 or 3 times, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you are getting overtaken, but those races are now looking more and more like with the cars staggered than they were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they've over aeroed it a little bit.
But don't forget, it's the vast majority of it's spec, so that actually comes down to driver ability, the way that the cars are staggering themselves out.
Yeah, no, but I think for the GP2, because it is a thing now where GP2 cars are getting the same thing, where as soon as they get in the dirty air of the dirty air of the car in front, they're losing grip. It's just a thing. That's
But is
happening.
that sort of?
It's the new car designs.
Well, yeah, but it's to prepare. What I'm saying is it to prepare drivers for what happens in Formula One currently?
No,
Might not be what happens next year with these new aero rules.
I
and
don't
rings
think
and
it's done
things.
on purpose.
I don't think it's intentional.
No, it's just more unwell thought out decisions. Formula One's made loads of them over the last decade.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken about it before, and I don't see anything wrong at all whatsoever in here's an idea for Formula One. Oh, that's that's whether it's a format or an aero design.
Trying
or
it out in the low formula.
Yeah. All right, we'll try it out in GP3 first.
Don't even
See how
think you
that
need
works.
to do that. Fucking run it in a sim.
Well, no, just
AI
try
is
it.
so fucking clever now. They could run all these ideas in computer
Well, they do.
simulations.
This is the thing, and then on track, it never happens as they think it's going to happen. They do have all these, CFD and computer models ready to go for. Well, this will be what happened if we make the rules like this. Remember when they started 2017 rules? The big change 2017. Oh, it's got to mean closer racing. No, it hasn't done really.
But I
It
think
hasn't.
that's
The cars are
that's
faster,
more. It's just more bad decisions from people, isn't it? Bad decisions with people just fucking shouting.
Yeah, but I mean, again, they had the models available to them to use.
No one's saying they listened to them.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, the 2017 rules, it was that hard because the entire sport was going through a change with the change of ownership around about that time. And I think a lot of the teams, well, mainly Ferrari, were looking to see how far they could push the new owners.
I think next year is going to be a massive year for Formula One. If
How many years have we been saying this?
no, but with Liberty's, it's going to be Liberty's first year with genuine decisions. Like genuine Liberty
Yeah, they've
moves.
had, these are the decisions now that we've made while we've been owning the sport.
I'm calling it now. If we turn up to Australia next year and cars can't overtake each other, Formula One is fucked. Like, it's proper fucked.
Yeah, but can cars overtake each other around Albert Park anyway?
It doesn't matter if these don't forget these changes have been brought in, like literally because of Albert Park.
I'm not sure that they are because of Albert Park. I don't think. I know you said it was like a knee jerk reaction.
There were fucking toys everywhere after that race.
Yeah, but I think that you said it was a knee jerk reaction after one race. I think it's been. It's that.
Oh, I think it's the
start
right
again,
thing to
Christopher.
do. Don't get me wrong. It needs.
It's been
something
happening.
needs done.
Yeah, but it's been happening the last couple of years, hasn't
Yeah.
it? That it's been well known that the aero is something that makes it difficult for cars to follow.
Yeah.
Ross Brawn has had just over a year in the sport, and then after the first race of this season, well, okay, maybe we do need to think. I don't think it was a knee jerk. I think it was already being thought about, but that just sort of accelerated it a bit.
Yeah.
I think that you've got to give Ross Brawn and his team of people looking at the sporting side of things as part of the Liberty ownership of Formula One. You got to give them the time to sort of just hang on a second. What needs to change here?
I
That needs to
totally
change.
agree with you, but I don't think they have the time. I don't think they have the time for mistakes.
But they won't. If what I'm saying is, if they come to the first race next year, Albert Park, and there are no more overtakes than there were this year,
Yeah.
I don't think they'll go, oh shit, that we made a mistake, let's change that back to the way it was.
No,
Starting
well,
from Spain, it's all going back to the old regs.
No, you won't be able to do that anyway because
No,
the
no,
cars will be built.
exactly. But they'll give it, at least a year.
No, but what I mean is, with dwindling viewership of Formula One, if the new owner has and its think tank put ideas into Formula One,
Yeah.
and they don't work, I think Formula One's in real trouble. Because
I don't know where else-
it can't have with it's because it's not just sports Formula One's competing with. Formula One's competing with the internet, it's competing with Netflix, it's competing with computer games, it's competing with all these other things.
No, it's not competing very well with Netflix. You can watch an entire thing on Netflix all the way through without it crashing or buffering. We will get to
Yeah.
that later.
But there's so many ways, like as Dan watches porn on his phone, there's so many ways that you can entertain
Interesting
yourself.
position.
Yeah, there's so many ways you can entertain yourself now that I don't think, given modern attention spans and modern technology, that Formula One has many misses left before it's in this spiral of fuckness.
Vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I really do think if the racing's good in Formula E, they've got a proper problem on their hands. Because they're going to end up with a series which is just street circuits, so people can get to the races easily in the towns they're in, with recognised car manufacturers up and down the grid.
And cars that look like the future.
Yeah.
The Gen 2 car
Yeah.
looks absolutely amazing.
I genuinely think that might be the best looking racing car I've ever seen.
Well, we saw the Mercedes launch of their Season 6 car.
Yeah.
Obviously Gen 2 car. Nico Rosberg launched it by
I
doing
hate the
a-
way they call it season though. I realise you get sporting seasons. I understand that.
It's over 2 years though, isn't it? That's why they don't call it, like we call this the 2018 Formula One season.
But it makes it sound like Lost.
Coming on next in season 6 of Formula E.
So Nico Rosberg's from the island as well as all the other countries.
Maybe the island was Rosberg, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, you just cracked it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And the and that monster that used to change them around was just the smoke out of the back of a Honda engine.
I was going to say it's Rosberg. It's Rosberg's missed chances at winning world championships. It's just. It's just his.
They've manifested.
Yes, it's his manifested anger at not being aggressive enough when he needed to be.
Either that or what's his name? Fucking not Nico Hulkenberg.
Nick Heidfeld.
Nick Heidfeld. He's ascended.
It's
he's
the
ascend-
island.
He's
Nick
ascended
Heidfeld's world of disappointment.
He's ascended into pure grief.
Anyway, can we talk about the Monaco episode of this, this
yeah,
season
sorry,
of Formula
sorry,
One?
yeah.
Well,
course.
we haven't quite got that far yet because the next thing we've got is it's a Red Bull thing. Marc Marquez is going to be testing.
MotoGP champion Marc Marquez.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen this before with Jorge Lorenzo having a go in a Mercedes, and then years before that, Valentino Rossi had a go in a Ferrari.
He had a few goes in the Ferrari, didn't he?
Yeah, so it's nothing new.
At one point, he was going to be partnering Schumacher for a couple of races.
Yeah, it's nothing new.
It's mostly a marketing thing, but it is very interesting to see how they do.
I wonder if Rossi would have had more of a shot of getting in a Ferrari as a race seat if he hadn't have just happened to be fucking testing it when Michael Schumacher was king of the world.
I think it was just after, wasn't it? Schumacher. I think Alonso was champion when Rossi was doing his tests.
No, there was his first test. Schumacher was like world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember Rossi testing a Ferrari and seeing, you know, that brightly coloured helmet going around the track at Maranello. It was for a while. It was just like this could happen. Like Rossi racing a Ferrari.
I
I think
thought
his
it would
first
happen.
test was when he was two-time world champion, wasn't it?
Yeah. So what that would have been slap bang in the Ferrari
Yeah.
heyday.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. The bit that we missed out on is Marquez isn't doing it on his own. Danny Pedrosa is also going to take part. And
The paperclip.
Yes.
Pedrosa the paperclip, the lightest man ever. Can't even stay on a motorcycle.
And motocross world champion Tony Caroli.
So it's Red Bull cross promo then.
Yeah.
It's a promo day.
So it's a private test at the Red Bull Ring.
But why is it private? If it's
It'd
promo.
just be filming.
Just before a filming day. So I don't think there's anything. We can read into this about. Oh, is Marquez going to make the switch? Are we going to see him?
You wouldn't go to Red Bull. Well, if Red Bull will take on Honda engines. And they can't. If the rumours about Brendan Hartley maybe not lasting the season have traction, and I don't think they do. I think Hartley's okay at the moment.
Marc Marquez, if he comes into Formula One, is not coming into Formula One in Toro Rosso.
No.
Just one question there. Who else have they got? If they get rid of Hartley.
Somebody.
Toro Rosso said today that they are not Honda.
Yeah.
They are very interested in a Japanese driver.
Eventually, as part of the Honda deal.
Was that a specific Japanese driver? Or-
No.
just-
Yeah, it's like
We want one of
anti-racism.
them Japanese people.
Yeah.
Well, Nobuharu Matsushita's been floating around the edges of that Toro Rosso seat for a while, hasn't he? He was touted as a possible McLaren reserve driver when it looked like McLaren might stick with Honda. But then, obviously, the switch was made, and he didn't get a super license, so couldn't become a Toro Rosso driver. Which is when they brought Hartley back from the meat grinder, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought we were going to say back from the dead then for a second. I think that
Almost.
I think this is pretty much making a story out of nothing, because it's basically Franz Tost saying, "Yeah, we should have a
French toast.
Japanese driver sooner or later at some point."
I think that's the beginning of them putting something out to make it not look like they haven't been forced to have a Japanese driver. They've got Honda have got two junior drivers, haven't they? Two Japanese drivers.
Yeah, Fukuzumi and Makino in F2.
Fukuzumi sounds fast.
I don't think either of them are they?
Makino has.
Also, Fukuzumi sounds like you're having sex with some sort of sweet.
Oh dear.
If Fukuzumi Fukuzumi finishes in the top four in F2, he will have enough points for a super license.
Does it look like he will?
This F2 season, who the hell can tell? I don't think he will, because
Markelov.
we know who the top 5 drivers in F2 are, and he's not amongst them.
Yeah.
Either of them get into Formula One, I will be calling them Fukushima and Nacho Shitsu.
That's not going to do anyone any favours, Lee.
Massively not. I think that's just a move by Toro Rosso to try and get some column inches and get people talking about it, which is a very sort of Red Bull organisation kind of thing to do. Oh, look, it's worked.
Yeah.
You know, they don't read the press cuttings; they weigh them.
I can't believe you used to saying it's out of the question for Red Bull, for Toro Rosso to get fucking drivers into their car.
Well,
I'll be surprised not to see one of them this year.
well, that's the problem. Nobody's got anywhere close. There isn't a Japanese driver with anywhere close to a super license.
Haven't they got super licenses?
No.
No, that's it. Matsushita couldn't get one because it wasn't good enough.
Not
basically.
Yoshitsu.
No, Matsushita.
Yeah, Fukuzumi's the closest, and he's still, like just said, he's got to finish in the top 4 to get the points. And that ain't going to happen. So, who are Toro Rosso going to get in the car if they bin Hartley? Maybe they're stuck with him because they can't actually replace him.
Shongalale.
Not got the points.
No.
There's always a driver surely to put in Formula One if you've got the.
You'd be looking at somebody that's been in F1 and retired recently. Jolyon Palmer.
Not happening.
Or someone who's been in F1, just had a few years out because of a rally crash, has a super license.
Ooh.
Not going to happen.
No.
Kubica
Fun to
in the Red
speculate
Bull
about.
meat grinder. No.
So then you're into the sort of Felipe Nasser, Will Stevens,
Nice name.
Roberto Mary.
who's
Great
been
hair.
Roberto
Big
Meri, who's
hair.
being thoroughly average in F2.
Yes.
Xander Rossi, who's being thoroughly average in IndyCar at the minute.
Yeah, but he's happy in IndyCar, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, he likes being there.
So it's if they're going to get rid of Hartley, they're going to have to bring someone back into,
Heikki Kovalainen.
and he'll make his debut at the Icelandic Grand Prix.
Yes.
Let's talk about Renault's engine upgrade instead.
Kvyat.
No, definitely not Danny Kvyat.
Verstappen hasn't won for a while.
So what happens in the second race?
What they've done to Kvyat is nothing short of like some sort of MK Ultra mind control program where they've slowly broke him down.
Did you ever play
They're going
Fable?
to program him into being a good driver.
Did you ever play Fable?
Yes.
Did you have different families in different villages?
Yep.
One family you were really nice to, the other one perhaps not so much.
Yeah,
That's what Danny Kvyat was. He was a family you were not nice to in Fable.
It's one of my favourite games of all time, Fable.
Great.
And it's, I think, the only series where I've finished every single game.
Really? That's impressive.
No, I think Danny Kvyat is still actually working for the Red Bull organisation. This whole
As a
Ferrari
spy?
thing. Yeah, he's a sleeper agent. Helmut Marko will say the word, and all of a sudden Kvyat will be in the car and ploughing it into the wall.
Maybe that's what's happened to fucking Grosjean. Maybe he's been activated. Fucking it. We'll have to listen for it. Monaco.
Renault, activate Grosjean.
Yeah, Rosebud.
No. He's into chefing these days. Rosemary.
Rosewood.
Where were we? Yeah, Renault's engine upgrade that's now not going to be happening in the foreseeable.
They've said they're not giving it a specific target date because of reliability concerns, which is understandable.
I mean,
given-
it's obvious that you weren't going to see it this weekend because there's no point bringing an engine upgrade to Monaco,
Where half the engines end up in the wall anyway.
yeah.
and you don't get to turn it up above 50%.
But I mean, it's understandable given that you go through 3 full power units in a season, and after that you've got penalties. So, if there are reliability questions, you're going to hold off, aren't you? Until
Just quickly, does this craziness stop now, or do the engines do they lose one next year?
As far as I know, then it's staying at 3.
Right.
It's not like going down by one every year until we get to 2021.
And
you
then
must start with no engine
And a 10 place grid penalty.
for every time you move the car.
you start with -1 engine. You've got to take one of your engines and give it to another team. It's like the worst Secret Santa ever. Who have I got? Oh no, it's Honda.
Do you think, regardless of how good the technology is for the hybrid engines and stuff like that, do you think inside Formula One they think like, we fucked this, lads? If we had a time machine, we could go back and say, no, the engines are too complicated. Let's think of something else.
I think if Formula One had a time machine, they'd go back to 1997 and go, "This is great. Leave it as it is."
Yes, yeah, I think you're probably right because that is the beginning of the problems.
For the next 10 years, this is fine. Grooves in the tyres, scrap
Yeah,
that.
rubbish idea, lads.
Yeah.
One set of tyres for the entire race? No.
No. Get rid of that rubbish idea. Tyre walls? Probably not, no.
Bernie Eccleston's bogus journey. He jumps back in the phone box.
So
Where are
he
you?
is Rufus.
Yeah. Where are you going, Bernie? Indianapolis.
Indianapolis 2017.
Yeah. Michelin, stop. Okay, let Ralph Schumacher go. That was funny.
Yeah, it would be good to know what Renault are going to be coming up with. The issue is, of course, Canada is the 7th race of the season.
Yeah.
Now, if that's a third of the way through. So, is it going to be they're going to hold off until after Canada because
Canada's a power circuit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So either you bring your brand new engines for that and risk them being blown up, or you're down on power, you risk not winning.
because you're using a knackered engine,
But-
you risk not finishing if you're running to schedule.
But if it blows up, then you're still on schedule.
Yeah.
There are,
I think we're going to see a bit of a mix.
there's too many variables.
Yeah.
This is why 3 engines doesn't work.
Yeah.
But we've said that all along.
It's stupid
Kimmy's
idea.
on it. Oh no, Kimmy's avoided his power unit change. I think his power unit's actually okay.
Yeah, they didn't have to replace anything after the second one let go.
Yeah.
Even 2 race weekends, a Formula 1 engine shouldn't be expected to do more than 2 race weekends.
And also, Ocon doesn't need an engine change. They managed to repair everything on his car.
Yeah.
That
Something that I've forgotten to write down on the running order there, but it's just come to my memory. Daniel Ricciardo has said that Formula One should have a qualifying tyre that you qualify on and then start the race in whatever you want.
It's not a bad move. I think in my many ways of fixing Formula 1, I do think that was like idea 7 subparagraph B.
yeah, because you can then just go for it and not have to worry about, well, what am I going to do for the first 10 laps of the race if I screw this up. Okay, making it cheaper and not wasting as many components, fine, that's saving money. But
It makes for interesting strategy as well on the Saturday.
but
Yeah, but they're making the qualifying part of the race by making you have to start the race on the tyres that you qualified on.
the races should be won on track, not in data analysis afterwards.
Yeah. It's the same. Remember qualifying when they were like with the fuel, right? With the times.
The flipping drivers circulating. Then they came in for the pit stop and did the blast lap. And
Yeah, and then it turned out like Button was 3rd in the Brawn, but when you look at it fuel adjusted, he had like 6 laps more fuel in his car and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
No.
No, as I am a firm believer that the racing should be determined by who is quickest on the track, not who's got the best data analysts. Look, see, I did an anti-spreadsheet thing.
Yes,
But
you
I agree with Martin Brundle
On
to a
what?
certain extent.
You're melting as well.
Yeah. When he turned around and said about the overtaking in Formula 1, I said we spend an hour on Saturdays lining the cars up from fastest to slowest, and then we're confused why there's no overtaking the next
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good.
It is a very, very
He
valid
does
point.
make a good point on that.
I bet he was so chuffed when he worked those string of words out into a sentence in his
And then
head.
they came out of his mouth.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was, inside he was just like,
You know, just sometimes you say something, you think, "Fucking nailed it."
Never on this podcast.
All the time, mate. All the time.
every week.
Yeah, something else you didn't.
fucking hell,
I'm
Joel, you all right,
just
mate?
throwing my pen all over the place. Something else that you didn't write down that we didn't get a chance to talk about last week was F1 TV and the launch of it.
We briefly touched on it because we were talking with Garbs.
happy I didn't sign up.
I signed up, but yeah.
Well, I'm kind of already signed up anyway because if you subscribe to the app for the live timing and everything, you're meant to get the
Highlights package.
the highlights package and the archive races. Unfortunately, Formula One servers don't recognise the Isle of Man as existing. So every time I try to log in by not using a VPN, it says this is unavailable in your current territory. I emailed Formula One technical support on this, and after
the response was less than satisfactory.
yeah, I got told I'd get a reply within 24 hours, so 36 hours later when they replied. I've got a confession to make. I kind of used a bit of a...
Do you know who I am?
It's a bit of a cunt trick, but I kind of went, oh, do you know who I am on them? Because I said we'd love to talk about this on the next Three Legs, Four Wheels podcast. Within 10 minutes, I got a response. The power of the internet. Thank you to everyone for helping us get that response.
To put it in context, where it's like to be on the Isle of Man sometimes. Do you remember when Android phones, to get the App Store working?
Oh,
on
you had
Android
to go
phone,
through
you had to go through a VPN and purchase something from a VPN in England, and then it would work from then on.
Or go to McDonald's and use the Wi-Fi there.
Yeah.
But apparently, viewers in the countries where you can get the live coverage were suffering all weekend with not getting feeds. Everything was buffering.
I think, namely, our listeners are referring to the feedback we've had from our listeners has all been from the United States.
Yeah, but I'm going to back...
Mainly speaking.
I'm going to back Formula One slightly here, is the fact that their hand was forced. This product wasn't supposed to be rolled out by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay.
This was supposed. The only reason this has been rolled out is because of the change with Formula One broadcasting in America.
I think I can see what you mean because
Their hands been forced.
NBC basically announced it for F1 when they said that they were stopping showing it last year.
Yeah.
When they said we're not going up against the rights holders. And everyone put two and two together and went, oh, Formula One are going to start broadcasting their own races on their own service.
Yeah.
That could be the only thing that they meant.
I think this service was probably supposed to come out about 2020. I think they were going to use... They'd have been putting it together this year.
Well, a lot...
They'd have done like private beta testing next year, then a full rollout in 2020.
Well, yeah, a lot of our listeners who take part in and contribute to our live blogs and comment on posts on social media, a lot of them are saying that they switched back to ESPN's coverage from watching F1 TV
I'm not surprised.
because it was so poor.
Yeah.
I don't think they necessarily had their hand forced into doing an over the top service.
I don't think it's not over the top though, is it? Really? I think
You're
it's
paying a subscription for it, and it comes with extra content.
But if it's
that
been put out,
broadcasters aren't.
But that's what I mean. I think the problem is the fact it's just been put out too quickly. I mean, to build a streaming service, you two would know better than me. It must be monumental to do something like that.
I think it was going to be due for launch next year, and this year will be the building it and testing it.
Yeah.
They've had 4 races to build it, test it privately, and get it out. And
You don't launch something halfway through the season
No.
if you're the rights holder and if that's exactly what you were planning to do
Well,
all along.
Don't forget. I mean, obviously, we won't go too much into this, but we were talking to people within Formula One, weren't we? Round about when I was on holiday last year,
yeah,
and we know who was being appointed as the head of like the internet side of Formula One.
yeah.
Now, if he was being appointed in October last year, that means that this was nowhere fucking near going to be ready for this year.
No, of course not.
You know, so
But you saying that you're going to defend Formula One for because they had their hand forced, they didn't have to put this out.
no, they didn't. But I think it's better in the long run. Yeah, it's better than shoving it out and fixing it on the hop to get it out for people that are struggling to see Formula One.
But the feedback is so poor that it's more damaging.
Yeah, it doesn't
than-
matter. As soon as it's fixed, it'll be fine. People have short memories. As soon as it's fixed and it's working, it won't matter anymore.
I just hope the problems are fixable.
Oh, of course,
and
of course
it is
they are. It's
workable.
just teething problems. Same thing happened with the WWE Network. The WWE Network launched, and a load of the live feeds freezed up during WrestleMania.
Yeah, but we want to hear people's feedback on F1 TV.
We've had quite a bit on the Facebook page, and none of it's been good. Anyone that's watching the Monaco race this weekend, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
We want to hear good feedback as well as poor feedback.
Yeah.
If
Just
you're-
hope there is something good to say.
Yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah.
If you're having a positive experience with F1 TV and you can use all of the services and you're extremely happy, then of course feel free to jump on our Facebook page and let us know. Send us a message or email us and
Email us 3legs4wheels@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And as well as that, let us know how it compares to the legitimate services that you can access from wherever you are as well, because obviously,
Like if you're in the States, ESPN,
Yeah.
or the Sky feed.
if you're in smaller countries around the world, you might have no other way to access it.
And if you're in Belgium, you can't watch it in English.
Why?
Belgium only has Spanish and French commentary available because one of the local TV channels carries Skies. So as part of the agreement, Belgian viewers have, if they want to watch the
Most
race
of
with
them-
English commentary.
Most of them would understand French though.
I'd also point out as well. I mean, obviously, it doesn't really matter if it's not working.
Apart from the ones in
But,
Flanders. Stupid Flanders.
I think it'll be
Stupid
working.
sexy Flanders.
I think it'll be working properly by the time we get halfway through the season, after the summer
Oh
break.
yeah.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I do hope so. It just seems very odd that a media company that's taken over a sport can't put out a decent piece of media to back up the sport.
Yeah, I think it's more complicated than just stapling something together and throwing it
Which
out.
means they should have waited.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
Dan says,
they
you don't
def-
launch something halfway
definitely.
through a
Yeah,
season.
yeah, they definitely-
Even if they launched it summer break.
But like I said, I think this is. Don't forget the negative reaction to was it ESPN?
yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Which they fixed
That
with
race.
the second race.
yeah.
Yeah, ESPN, terrible in Australia, by China. Everyone's loving it.
Yeah. The other thing I'd say is it's remarkably competitively priced. I think it's for what it is. I think it's really cheap.
For what it offers, yeah, it is well priced.
$70, is it? $70 for the year.
Not even that much, is it?
I think, yeah, it's about 70,
Yeah.
70 for the year.
It depends what country you buy it through. But
It's more expensive in Germany than it is in France.
is it?
Apparently, yes.
I think there's somewhere else in the Americas as well where it's cheaper than the.
That'd probably be Mexico because you can't get it. Apparently, you can't get it in Canada.
I can't remember. I think there was one which there was $8 one which was about $64. But when you consider Netflix as a tenner, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When WWE Network's a tenner.
Yep.
I think
NFL Network, NFL, whatever their service is called at the moment, is, I want to say, works out at £30 a month.
Well, I remember when MotoGP went off free to air, and before you gave me your login so I could watch it again, I was looking at because MotoGP have had an online service for years,
Yeah.
where you can watch it through the
Yeah.
website, but that's like £180 a year. It's like really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, NFL Game Pass. That's the one I meant. That's sort of that's about £300 a year.
Yeah.
And that's something for a sport that's really only active for 5 months. And you're paying for 7 months of
Dead air.
repeats.
Yeah. Like the Formula One channel when there's no Formula One on.
Yeah.
Inside Williams.
I'll definitely get it as soon as they sort that out. As soon as they sort the issues out, like I'll get that, and I will throw Sky off the closest harbour.
Well, there you go. That's Lee's point of view for you right there.
Hot takes.
We're going to have to make a jingle for... No, we're not. Tell you what, let's talk about Monaco, because that is this weekend.
It is.
Don't forget, there is nothing going on Friday. All the Friday stuff
No.
is Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday is practice day. Friday is a bank holiday or public holiday in Monaco.
Is that the case this year?
No, it isn't a public holiday anymore, because the public holiday was actually last week. They've just kept to the routine of having it on the Thursday, because it used to be 2 weeks before it is now.
Right.
And I think the public holiday in Monaco was a week ago last Friday. But they've just carried on with the Thursday, Saturday, Sunday programme. There is limited running on the track on Friday, but the roads open at about 2 o'clock Friday afternoon.
I don't think they do any running on Friday, do they?
They have in lower formats. They've got like Renault Super Cup running as well, and lesser races.
GP3 and F2 are supporting Formula One at Monaco. Is it for the first time that both formulas are doing it?
Yes,
At Monaco.
it's normally just F2 because we all remember the GP2 first corner thingies from 2 years ago when Johnny Cecotto managed to take the entire field out.
Yeah.
And yes, but no, I think the Formula Renault Euro Series is running as well.
Right. Okay.
Because BT Sport have been plugging that, and I think that one of their races is actually Friday morning. But no, the first practice sessions for F1 will be on Thursday this week. Fernando Alonso said this week that it's a great leveler and it's like throwing dice.
Which is very true.
Yeah,
Among the casinos of Monaco.
yeah. There's no real telling who
It's kind of like the
who's
Grand
got,
National.
who's got the car for it. Yeah.
It's kind of like the Grand National, isn't it? You don't really know what's going to happen. You kind of got a good idea who's going to win after the first corner.
Yeah, if there's any race where you think the favourites have got the least chance of winning, it's Monaco. Cause,
But it does tend to be won by world champions.
well, yeah.
Or Olivier Panis.
Yeah. He's the exception that proves the rule.
Jarno Trulli.
He's the other exception.
The weather looks like it's going to stay dry, so it's not like we're going to get any dramatic wet weather Monaco, because wet weather Monaco's are usually quite fun, aren't they? Because it only takes the tiniest of mistakes and you're in the barrier.
Well, in the dry, it's only the tiniest of mistakes. And,
But mistakes come around more often in the wet.
yeah.
In the wet, it's just sheer dumb luck and you're in the barrier.
Yeah, and the there's nowhere there's nowhere to crane the car off safely usually. So it's that safety car, virtual safety car, whilst they clear everything out of the way. Was it Maldonado and Hamilton? Was it about 5 or 6 years ago, like 3 or 4 corners from the end? Just decided that we're just going to like mount about 6 cars at the same time.
I tell you what, though, you see, if you were Romain Grosjean, given what's happened to you already, Monaco is not the next race you want.
No, it isn't at all. No, whatsoever. Monaco is going to be the race where Romain Grosjean goes sideways at the narrowest part of the track and just stops.
Grosjean qualifies on pole, gets down to the hairpin on the first lap, loses the back end, goes sideways on, and that's it.
Is it going to be
18
like one of those,
retirements, Sorokin wins.
I was just going to say, it's going to be like one of those computer game Monacos where there's a massive crash and one car gets through, and then that one car is now a minute ahead because the AI can't sort itself out.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good old Formula 1 97 for the PlayStation 1.
Fucking Formula 1 1997.
Yeah. Formula 1 in
2006,
1990. Yeah. But it's incredibly difficult to tell who's the favourites going into this one. A lot of people think Red Bull are going to be the favourites. With their,
not impossible.
With their incredible pace in the slow sector in Spain, with that aero upgrade that they bought, which Scarbs was talking about last
Danny Rick
week.
tends to be pretty fucking good around Monaco.
Yeah,
as well.
and also I'm wondering, you know how these cars are even quicker again than they were last year. Are we going to be looking at like a laps? If it's dry and it's fast, we're going to be looking at laps like closer to a minute round Monaco. Do you think they're doing like 1 minute 10? Are they something like that qualifying pace last year? Something like that.
You're going to have to be going something to knock 10 seconds off.
No, but I mean, you won't be under a minute at Monaco. That I don't think that's possible. But as I say, close to
1:08.
Yeah,
Might as real, I suppose,
I was thinking maybe 106, 105, maybe as a qualifying lap. That would be mentally
Would
quick.
be mental, yeah.
Tell you what, let's have a look at last year's qualifying
Yeah.
times.
Well, Toto Wolff has already played down Mercedes' chances,
Which generally means he thinks they're going to win.
Back sanding.
yeah, absolutely. Ferrari, I mean, they completely controlled that race last year, and then Kimi Raikkonen.
Let's have a look. Pole last year was Kimi with 112.178. I think we're going to be looking in
108,
optimum
109.
dry conditions. I
yeah.
think it's going to be the 109s.
Even still
3
less
seconds.
less than 110.
Have we had 3 seconds quicker than last year anywhere else?
Yes, Spain, but that was new tarmac.
Yes. No. Yeah. So 3 seconds a bit much.
Yeah. We'll see.
I think we're. I think
Hypersoft
we're.
tyres, though.
Yeah, good
Are
point.
they using them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hypersoft tyres are coming in at Monaco, because the Ultrasofts were in at Monaco a couple of years ago when they were brand new.
Yeah.
And if you remember, I think Hamilton went from wets straight onto the Ultrasofts and then just didn't.
Then just took off and
Yeah.
But aren't Hypersofts just essentially the old Supersofts? Supersofts of last year. Didn't everything essentially go one harder?
no, one softer.
Or was it one softer?
The Hypersofts are softer than anything that's ever been seen before.
Right, okay,
This year's Ultrasofts are,
What would have been last year's Hypersofts.
yeah,
If they had. Oh, right.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So this year's Supersofts are last year's Ultras.
Right, cool, got you. I can't look past Hamilton though. I think he's hungry for
He's on a
Monaco,
run of
and he's on a run of form, and he's had a bit of rough luck at Monaco, hasn't he, through no fault of his own.
Yeah.
Well, he picked up
And
that win in,
sometimes through.
was it 2016, when Danny Rick should have won the race?
Yeah,
I know Gemma's probably thumping whatever device it is she's listening to in the moment, because
All the nearest person's face.
as a staunch Danny Rick fan, she hates hearing about Monaco 2016. But Red Bull for getting the tyres for Danny Rick, basically that threw the race away for him.
oopsies.
Yeah, and Red Bull, I would say, are probably in a stronger position now than they were in 2016.
Yes, definitely.
But then again, so are Ferrari. It'd be interesting to see how Ferrari get on after being kind of schooled by Mercedes in Spain. Really, all right, completely different layout of circuit, completely different conditions. But you can't really look beyond Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull as potential winners of the race. I think.
I'm gonna chuck. We don't know where Haas or McLaren will be in that either. Because that McLaren, when it was in free air last race, I think that was better than maybe the results showed it being.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I think that was almost on pace with. Almost on pace with like sort of best of the rest.
Don't forget as well, cars can act completely differently under high downforce setups as well. Like Force India might have an amazing high downforce setup that just suits their car brilliantly, but
Yeah.
then they'll be good again in Budapest in Hungary, but then that's about it for the season.
Yeah.
So there's always that wild card to throw in as well.
Yeah.
All it takes is an Ocon qualifying third, and well, that's throwing everybody's tyre strategy out the window.
I still think the days of a shock, like a shock result for Force India on proper pace, just turn up and doing it on proper pace. I don't think that's happening this year.
No,
Especially not in
if
Monaco.
they get anything this week, it's going to be down to.
Shenanigans.
I wouldn't say shenanigans. Just their
Safety car luck.
Grosjean,
possibly. But if Force India do have a good high downforce setup, then that gives them the pace to do it in this. But it's not a normal circuit.
no.
I was just thinking. I'm not saying Force India do have a great high downforce setup. I'm just saying that any
But
team.
well, no, if they
could
do,
have.
if they do, that's their best chance to win. Without taking shenanigans into question.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, we're guaranteed to see a safety car.
almost. Yeah, I mean, Sauber could have an amazing setup and find both cars in the points, on sheer pace. But again, a safety car luck or virtual safety car luck where, you can come into the pits.
No, you wouldn't have said this about Ericsson up until this season because he's got the ability to actually spin at low speed in a straight line, or he had until this year.
But that's Grosjean again. But
So Grosjean's taken that over from
Yeah.
him.
You're the leader, you get picked up by a safety car, and the third place guy can pit like right behind you or something, and then all of a sudden they're on fresher tyres, they've only lost like one place, and everybody else has still got to pit. You're in great position then, aren't you?
Yeah.
If you get an early safety car.
Conversely, look at what happened to Hamilton when he did put under the safety car, and
Yeah, we came out in third place.
Yeah.
I've lost this race, haven't I?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? It's
Well,
definitely
it's our job to make a vague stab.
It's definitely good. It's definitely a good one to stick the old McLaren podium down.
Already done.
Is it?
I did see Dan on a popular betting website before.
Yeah.
You've put a pound on for McLaren
I've put some pounds on
some pounds.
on an Alonso podium.
That's brave in Monaco, especially.
I might
Although-
I might join in with a bet in this week.
Although I'm probably going to do the same now.
No.
So what predictions do we have if we're talking about predicting things?
Should we do Sean's first because she sent them through to me and she's not here, so it gives everybody more time to sort of ponder on what we're
Yeah, go on.
betting on. She is going for a Vettel win, Ricciardo second, and Hamilton third.
Interesting.
This is the point where I realise you're about to do the predictions, and I've not got my list in front of me of where the predictions go. Anyone got a bit of paper? I don't want to use the
You've got the
podding
pod
book.
You can use the back page. There you go.
So, Monaco 18. Right. Who's going first?
I
Lee.
can go first.
No, Dan's ready to go.
Yeah.
Dan.
Go
I've
first.
been thinking about this.
Oh.
I've been thinking about this.
Ricardo first,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
because Danny Rick.
he's about due it. I think he's fairly good around Monaco. I think the car will be good. I don't think they'll bollocks it up. Verstappen second,
Red Bull 1-2.
Red Bull 1-2.
Angry Max not crashing in Monaco.
Why don't I just
He's-
take notes on my phone?
Yep,
Yeah,
he's
but
he's going to do
You had a
okay.
device in your hand which
Yeah.
could do all the things you need to do.
Do you want me to repeat it slowly for you?
I've got Ricciardo, Verstappen, and
Alonso third.
Alonso third.
Wow.
None of
There
the
will
top
be
four.
shenanigans and safety cars, and
Well, as I said, all it takes is for somebody to have like a first or second lap tap in the wrong place and a lucky pit stop. That driver then probably doesn't have to stop for the rest of the race. So
Yeah.
if they're in a train when people are pitting, it's entirely possible.
so that's obviously going to make the hero Alonso. The villain, in popular opinion, is going to be Sirotkin. Ooh. Because if you've got a car that sometimes loses all the downforce, you really don't want it to happen at Monaco, and it's going to.
See, I am going to go with my villain as being the other Williams driver for similar reasons.
And do you think it's actually villainous or just their
No.
passengers?
Yeah, they're passengers. I found it really interesting the chat that we had with Scarbs. Hopefully, the listeners really found Scarbs' insight incredibly insightful.
Usually the idea.
Yeah,
He's quite good at that sort of stuff. He should do it professionally, maybe.
he should. He should go around the garages at races and look at cars and maybe make a professional opinion on what. Oh no, wait, he already does that.
Can I just put in and say, talking to Scams, I want to thank him hugely for last week because that was actually our most popular show that we've ever done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So-
it's,
Or at least the
by
most people
far.
listen
The
to
most
it.
people listened to it and downloaded it. So, Craig, thank you very much for
Yes,
being
thank
on.
you,
Yeah.
Craig.
No one tried to lynch us either.
No, which was
How can you have that many people listen to something on the internet without someone wanting to kill somebody?
I know. It's because all of our listeners are very intelligent and very very good people.
Especially you.
Dave.
So yeah, I think Williams, but not Sirotkin will be the villain. I think Lance Stroll.
Well, that narrows it down. What is Kubica going to do to everyone?
He's not got an FP1, has he?
Not this time.
It could have been Claire Williams or Frank Williams. But no, so I think Stroll will be the villain. But yeah, as Dan said, a passenger, because if they've got this interesting sort of aero stalling thing, that's going to
I'm
cause
not sure they call it
havoc.
interesting.
No, it is
It
interesting.
will be from where everyone else is sitting.
I
Like
would-
a nice aerodynamic tweak on the rear wing. That's interesting.
No, but I mean,
That's terrifying what you're talking about.
all right.
When they're going towards turn one,
No, not
like
even
lap one,
turn
turn one, and they suddenly lose downforce and take out half the field.
Not even that. It's when you're hammering it out of the chicane after the tunnel. You go left through to back and then through the swimming pool. Oh, suddenly you've got no aero. Where are you ending up, Lance Stroll? In the drink.
I've just thought between the fucking Williams, which seems to shed downforce randomly, and Grosjean, which is the next best thing to a fucking live cannonball in Formula One at the minute. This season is our best chance to see a start like Spa '98 for quite some time.
Pretty much had that in Spain.
Yeah.
Oh, please let it rain in Belgium.
Stroll in the drink. There you go. There's my villain. Maybe not during the race, but during a practice session or during a qualifying session. Driver swimming through harbour in full race gear.
That will be amazing TV. So what finishes have we got? Who's on the podium?
I'm gonna say
Valtteri
Bottas to win the race.
Jesus.
No,
No,
Valtteri. Valtteri Bottas to win the race.
Jesus second.
Daniel Ricciardo to finish second, and Lewis Hamilton to finish third.
Okay, Lee, you're up next.
Even though I'm putting money on an Alonso podium, I don't think.
You're not willing to put points on it.
No.
It's
So,
a
but,
good-
hang on. Basically, you've just not put your mouth where your money is.
What I'm doing is called spreading your bets.
Yeah, it's a punt. It's probably not going to happen.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it. It's
that's
a
what
punt.
Stroll needs to get back on the circuit.
Yeah.
A shunt. A total shunt.
Let me think. I think Hamilton's going to win. Like I said before, I think he's hungry for it. I think he deserves some Monaco look. I think Vettel will be second. I think Danny Rick will be third.
Hamilton, Vettel, Ricciardo
Yeah.
for Lee.
Hero of the I think Alonso will be fourth, and he might be a good hero of the race. But let's say Leclerc. Leclerc will perform that car.
For it being his home race, I would also go for Leclerc as a hero.
Yeah. Villain of the day, I think, is going to be like the most hotly contested position of all.
Safety car. Could we see a car hit the safety car?
See, I'm not going Stroll
We have Bert
because
Meinlander for the villain of the day.
No, he's going to be driving the day. He'll be leading the most laps.
Stroll doesn't seem too bad at street circuits, does he?
No.
So I'm not going to put Stroll down.
Although most street circuits are straight lines and 90-degree bends.
That's true.
Monaco is not.
Yeah. Saying that, I don't think either Williams or Grosjean are going to finish the race. Kevin Magnussen as well. Probably he's probably got more than a decent chance of not finishing the race.
Because he's going to try and overtake someone.
He's just trying to overtake someone. Yeah, he's going to try and overtake someone at the swimming pool, in the middle of it.
In the middle of the two
Yeah.
really fast turns.
Yeah,
That are 1.1 cars wide.
yeah. So realistic, my villain is going to be between Grosjean and Sirotkin at who causes the most devastation to the race. I think for that you can only give it to Romain Grosjean.
As villain.
I think he's going to have a massive crash, and
Much like he did with Verstappen 3 years ago, was it? When Verstappen decided he
might
was going to
even be red flag worthy. Might even be
Oh,
red
really?
flag worthy.
Ooh.
He crashes on the way into. Oh, sorry, this is the best thing.
No, like I said, he spins it sideways and jams the track.
No, he but he loses a wheel on the coming. Is it Sandoval that goes down?
The first corner.
First
of
corner,
Sandoval.
Sandoval.
Right. You go up the hill down to the U bend.
Portier.
Yeah, then down again over those like the curve. They take a load of curb.
Yeah, just before the tunnel.
So he comes down, clouts the wall, loses a wheel, and still drives into the tunnel.
I do remember Alex Wirtz coming out of the tunnel with no front wheels a few years
but
back.
this is the thing.
I remember
he's not-
Schumacher coming out the tunnel with no front wheels a few years
Didn't
back.
Schumacher come out the tunnel backwards?
He's
one year.
Right, he's going to full on Diana it. He's not even getting out of the tunnel.
Oh my god!
You mean he's going to crash a Mercedes?
And there'll only be one survivor. The week of the royal wedding. We cannot talk about this.
That's all right. We've already called the Daily Express out for printing bullshit this week.
It's fair enough.
Right, I'm going to go for a Hamilton win, Bottas second, and Vettel third. My hero is going to be Charles Leclerc because it's his home race, and it's Alonso syndrome. You get that extra 10th. Villain this week, Ferrari's strategy team, because they are going to use Kimi as a blocker again, and this is the track where you can do it the most successfully. So
So are you imagining Kimi will be winning and then he'll have to slow down to cool his brakes or something?
Or
that-
they'll leave him out for an age.
They will leave him out after the Mercedes have stopped to try and get a lead for Vettel, and they'll get it wrong again, and it won't be big. The gap won't be big enough. Because I reckon Kimi will qualify top 4. I'm fairly certain of that.
Yeah.
And he will be the last of the Mercedes or Ferrari to actually stop. Because they will.
Ferrari will try and use him as a block.
Yeah, they will just use him as a block to hold up Hamilton and possibly Bottas as well, to give Vettel a chance to catch up or make a move. And I think we'll see Kimi finish outside the top 6 because of that.
I think that would be a really daft strategy at Monaco.
This is-
because of the safety cars.
This is why I'm saying Ferrari are going to be villains of the week, because they're going to try it, and that's going to put Kimi behind both the Red Bulls. They are going to completely screw his race up. Some kind of sacrificial lamb again.
It's not completely out of the question, is it?
He's been sacrificed that many times. There's going to be a fucking pentagram on the back of his overalls soon.
Obviously, if you want to let us know your predictions, we will put these on the website on the Prediction League.
Yeah.
And update it after the race on Sunday. If you want to let us know what your predictions are, any bold predictions as well, heroes, villains, drop us a tweet at 3 Legs 4 Wheels, email them through at 3 Legs 4 Wheels at gmail.com, go to Facebook and look for us on there and put it on the page or send it as a private message. We'll share the best ones. We'll see how we do. We will be live blogging the race as always.
Yeah, you will.
I'll be doing qualifying as well
Yep.
on Saturday. And that leads us on nicely to... Oh, the guitar's over there and you're over there.
It's all right, we'll just go straight into
We're
it.
doing it themeless. We're going to have to fill for time until Leo actually opens
Done
the
it.
laptop. Oh, blimey.
It's time for Total Shunt, if you're wondering what's going on, by the way.
Slick professionalism here. I'm just locking my phone and putting it away.
Oh, total shouldn't. Shit, hang on.
Yeah, Lee was just checking his emails.
Yeah. Just closing the porn window.
Oh, no.
Which one?
What?
Who sent this week's in?
All 6 of them. This was sent in by Luke Nippert.
We've had contributions from Luke
Yeah.
before.
We
thanks for
certainly
coming.
have.
I hope you haven't heard this one. I'm not particularly sure. I'm a bit lost with all the shunties, to be fair. I need.
Do you know what you need? You need some method of sort of
Spreadsheet.
So like to spread them out over
spread them out on a sheet and make sure that
Yeah.
these questions haven't been asked before, like a database.
Yeah.
could do, but like chaos.
But on
is,
like one page.
Could use multiple.
chaos is my way of organising things. It's fine. I was born
Correct way to start.
in 1988.
Right, okay.
Youngster, eh?
29, 30.
The year Child's Play came out. You can hear more about Child's Play by going to Must See Audio.
You've already done that one.
Not on this one.
Oh no, that's true. It was,
It was on the Patreon
Yeah.
podcast
Yeah, but
exclusively for our Patreon subscribers.
which
Yeah.
we'll get to in a minute.
And you can go and listen to Not the Director's Cut, which is another podcast I'm doing, which you can find at Must See Audio. And Not the Director's Cut from the next one on will also be for my patrons as a patron-only show.
Is that confusing enough for you?
Little
If not, here's Total Shunt.
I completed...
You were born in 1988, you said.
Yes. Just like Child's Play.
Not again.
I competed in junior touring cars in 2008.
Junior touring
Unlike
cars.
Child's Play.
Junior touring cars.
At age 20.
How small are you?
Are you Tom Cruise?
No, that was Days of Thunder.
That was a dance site before 2008.
Yeah. Probably was around 1988, wasn't it?
About then, yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's more. Winning 2 races in my opening season. I missed the second line.
Bearing in mind
Junior touring
the sounds of surprise when you mentioned junior
I didn't
touring
think it was going
cars.
to help. Yeah, I could have not said that, and it wouldn't have helped.
Now, Tom Chilton's done a lot in touring cars, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
He's won things in touring
Yeah.
cars.
I wonder if him and his brother ever did the junior touring cars, and also how old they both are.
Was there a junior? I don't even know there was a junior touring cars.
And I don't think Max Chilton is that old. I think he's about 26. If that.
Yeah, but Tom's older.
Tom's older, so it could be him. The good Chilton.
Are you ready for more?
Yes.
Yes,
Next
yes,
clue.
definitely.
I competed in Swedish touring cars in 2009, having little to no success. All
Little
of
to
the
no success
clues.
sounds like Max Chilton.
I wasn't ready for that. You've got me a couple of times here, Dan. This might be one for Dan's highlight reel. This show.
Swedish touring cars.
So you'd imagine someone sort of Nordic, wouldn't you?
I don't know. Marcus Ericsson.
Do you think the car's got holes
Could
in
be.
them?
No, that's Swiss touring cars like
Damn
the
it.
cheese.
Anyway,
Do you need a guess?
Oh,
He
yes.
needs a guess,
Should we
doesn't
go
he?
Marcus Ericsson or Tom Chilton?
I'd say Marcus Ericsson is more likely to have done Swedish touring cars.
Because he's Swedish.
Yes.
Marcus Ericsson?
No, Marcus Ericsson. Yeah.
First guess, Marcus Ericsson.
To help you out, I can confirm junior touring cars is a real thing.
Thank you. Thank you, research team.
In 2012, I won the Porsche Carrera Cup Scandinavia.
2012, wasn't Ericsson already in Caterham in 2012?
Yeah.
That seems like a strange way to say it, doesn't it?
Well, no, they have various continental Porsche Carrera Cups.
But wouldn't it be the Scandinavian Porsche Carrera Cup? Not the Porsche Carrera Cup Scandinavia.
No, because the one that they had as a support race in Bahrain was the Porsche Carrera Cup Arabia.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
What a stupid way of writing stuff.
It's German, it's more
It's
efficient.
something else I can fix. They won't even use their own fucking language in their own factories.
How Manx did you sound just then?
Well, Manx, fella.
Yeah.
I'm no clearer on this.
So if they're in a Porsche Cup, I'm guessing they were rich and ploughed it into a wall quite a lot.
Max Chilton.
Next clue.
In 2014, I first competed in the discipline of motorsport, which I am known and which I'm known and finished third. Not Max Chilton.
So I don't think we're looking at an F1 driver here.
No.
In 2014.
Took part for the first
That-
time and finished third.
Be the. When did Formula E start?
Formula E started in
2014.
2014.
The Formula E
Because-
is responsible for 3 legs, 4 wheels.
Three legs, four wheels is as old as Formula E. Who came third in
And
that? It was,
Nico Prost won the first one, didn't he?
yeah. Could have been looking at something like Daniel Abt.
German and came through DTM, I thought.
Felix Rosenqvist.
That's there you
Oh,
go.
that's
Fairly
Scandinavian and Formula E.
yeah,
Yeah.
and relatively successful in Formula E.
I think so.
I refuse to call it Formula E.
Is that your guess?
Do you
Do
need
you
a guess
need
on
a
this
guess?
one?
Yeah, it was 6.
Was it?
Felix Rosenqvist?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, Felix Rosenqvist. Yeah, good thinking, Dan.
I am heavily associated with the car brand Volkswagen.
Maybe not Felix Rosenqvist.
Maybe not.
Oh, this hurts my head when things like this happen.
So what are VW racing in nowadays?
Nothing
or
to
what
do with
were
diesels.
Actually, no. Because you see Max Chilton up ahead and you go, no, pass that easily.
And he probably enjoys a good game of polo or golf.
Sorry, with it being Volkswagen, this week's total shut. I am untruthful carbon emissions.
I am half the truth.
Great song. First track on the second album by Royal Court of China.
Oh, thank you very much.
Video directed by Sam Raimi, of all people.
I have won 2 championships in my chosen discipline.
Not Rosenqvist.
Wait, are we looking at somebody who does iRacing? Of which I know nobody.
Certainly nobody 30.
Lando, I've started watching that now and again.
I think
He streams himself on Twitch, iRacing, quite
Yeah.
a lot.
oh, what's the point of watching an entire video game on Twitch?
Because it's watching a professional racing driver drive a racing simulator.
I thought the average age in iRacing was 20, not 30.
I don't know what's going on. My brain's shutting down slowly.
Not even 11 o'clock. You're not trying hard enough.
No, I'm not even close to knowing what's going on.
No,
with this
I
one.
think we need the next clue.
My father is a famous Swedish touring car driver.
Jan Lammers.
I always
He was
thought
a
he was.
Swede.
I always thought he was Dutch,
Jan, that he may have been.
and he's definitely older than 30.
Yeah, but it could have been his father.
Ah, true.
Number 10.
Yes.
My current teammate is Peter Solberg.
Okay, so it's a rally driver. It's Petter Solberg.
Is it Peter Solberg?
Yes. So it's going to be a rally driver, and I am completely and utterly stuck as to who. Although Petter Solberg, I think he's doing World Rallycross these days, isn't he?
I don't know.
Because he turned up at the Race of Champions plugging his Rallycross team. And on that Sky filler programme where they've got Lando Norris, George Russell and Jack Aitken doing Rallycross stuff around Silverstone, he was their instructor.
This is lovely.
But it's not getting us anywhere. I'm probably going to kick myself for this. It's definitely a rally driver, but I'm 99% convinced it's a rally driver, but I couldn't tell you who it was. Do we get half a point for the sport?
I don't.
It's motorsport,
If it makes you feel any better, I've no idea who it is.
so you can't even give us a spaffer.
No, I've got the name. I still don't know who he is.
I think you're going to have to put us out of our misery.
Yeah.
I'm Jonah Christopherson.
Tom Christopherson.
Oh, sorry, is it Johan?
was the-
Johan, sorry.
Yeah.
no.
Was it Tom Christopherson was the famous touring car dad?
Yes. bloody hard.
Yeah.
I know nothing about rally driving, like nothing about it, apart from the fact that if you're a Formula One driver, it screws your hands up. But
I used to really enjoy
can do.
watching WRC. I used to, as in before everybody stopped doing it.
The footage of the 1980s Group B rally going through Sulby Valley is stunning.
Where Ari Vatanen has his car sideways as he goes through the concrete gate.
Yeah. So this is a road that we're familiar with living on the Isle of Man.
A road that
and,
both me and Lee drove along earlier on today because I passed him going the other way.
and Lee was saying about how he was driving at the maximum speed he felt safe, which was 30 miles an hour.
Yep.
Which is reasonable, I think. Anyone who's driven along that road
Well,
would say.
there's a hill to hit on one side, and if you go the other way, there's a fall into a river that's quite dangerous on the other side.
Yes. Not that I've got a tendency to speed either, but I'm rarely the guy holding people up.
Yeah. And also, it's not really 2 cars wide, that road, is
No,
it?
it's just 2 cars wide.
Just about.
Yeah.
And the Group B rally drivers were doing it at 90, 100,
More than that, probably. but
sideways.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Roman Grosjean would avoid.
Yeah. Yes.
So, if you want to send in a total shunt and stump us all like Luke just did then, how do you do it?
You can tweet me at a total shunt.
And you have to prepare a couple of total shunts for future weeks to send to me while you're away.
I think you've got one, haven't you?
No.
Did he not send you one?
No, he didn't in the end.
What a bellend.
Nope, the only one that I've been sent I've used.
Right, cool.
Which, funnily enough, was the last time. Oh, no, it was when I got banned and you were in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Right.
I might have one for while Lee's away.
Oh, that'd be a total shunt. That's good. That's a good one. I'll be looking forward to that.
Is it Stefan Sarazan?
You'll have to wait and see.
Right, Formula League, quick update. It's Monaco in the dry in a Red Bull, and you've got until 7 o'clock on Monday, what date's it going to be next Monday, the 28th, to get your time into us.
That's 7 o'clock British summertime.
Yeah, 2 o'clock Eastern summertime, or New York. I don't know what they call it during the summer. 2 p.m. Eastern.
There you go. That'll do.
And if you're in Australia, get a calculator. Right, fantasy. Not that kind. We've got a couple of
You
fantasy.
pointed at Lee there. I'd just like to describe for all of our listeners watching in black and white.
Yep, fantasy sports. 3 options.
Motorsports?
No, fantasy motorsport.
Right, okay, sorry.
3 options. You can go onto the Formula One website and join up with the official Fantasy Formula One League.
Yep.
The free-to-play one. There's a 3 legs, 4 wheels one on there. Please join in with that. Let's see how you compare. We're also on gridrival.com, where you can find a 3 legs, 4 wheels league. And
Do the Formula 1 one.
do happen to know that Mark, who is leading the 3 legs, 4 wheels league in Grid Rival, is also number 1 in the world on it as well.
Wow.
Yes.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well
so
done, you.
3 legs, 4 wheels listeners know the most about predicting Formula One races.
Not like the presenters.
Not like the presenters.
No.
But no, we just want
shit.
to say well done to Mark for that. He's
Awesome work, Mark. Well
currently
done.
world number 1. He sent us a tweet with the screen grab of his only 2 leagues being the Global League and the 3 legs, 4 wheels one. I was like, how did
Number
this
1 in
happen?
both.
Yeah.
That's good work.
No, he's number 1 in the world and number 2 in our. Hang on.
That's some good guessing.
So that is great. There is also, you can find this on our website, the official Formula One Daily Fantasy Sports, where you can do a one-off fantasy for one particular race. I think you can make your predictions on anything from qualifying, practice times,
Can I have Jensen Button win it?
tyre use, to anything that's happening in the real world and not last year. Spoiler alert, he didn't win.
Oh, well, you said a one-off F1 fantasy. I'd like Jensen Button to win.
You can put money on it, but I'll tell you how betting works like that.
Right,
You
okay.
put £10 on it, you lose £10.
Oh,
But yeah, you can sign up to the official F1 Daily Fantasy through Play on our website. Just go to the main page at 3legs4wheels.com and go to the gaming section.
Yep.
And the drop down will show you all the available options.
Of which there are many.
There are. They're getting more and more by the week, I think. heavily into gaming. There's all the previous Formula Lee results on there as well, I think.
Is there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, saved them all. It was easier than deleting the pages. Aside from that,
And if your spreadsheet corrupts, what would you do to get the information back?
He would have to excel at rebuilding his spreadsheet.
moving swiftly on, there is an extra show you can get which contains the worst of the jokes.
Sometimes I hear things and I think, my
Even
God,
worse
I'm
than that
funny.
It's just a shame that nobody else agrees with you.
Lies, actually, lies.
Who made the first dad joke this week?
It was a good joke, that. That was a good joke.
I don't even remember it.
You don't even remember it, and it was only 3 hours ago.
I don't remember what happened 30
I had to
minutes
hit
ago.
you with a perfectly comedy-timed swing and a miss for one of your jokes.
So what's different to most weeks? I never said I was in this for the lols. No, you can get an extra show by donating to us on patreon.com/3legs4wheels. The challenge is still up there. If we get to 250 Patreon subscribers by the time of the Le Mans 24-hour race, which is now only in 3 weeks' time,
Yep.
we will live blog the lot.
Yes, but the important thing about Patreon is it helps us. We were talking before about this being last week's show being the biggest show we've ever done, and it's not easy doing that. Getting the show out to all of those thousands of people.
And to be honest, to get the show out to all those sort of tens of thousands of people, we really need the support of our hosting company as well, Cloud Above, who are doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to say thanks to those guys. And
Tens of thousands, like as in 100 of a tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
We'll
some.
just say comfortably six figures.
Yeah. And like Spider-Man's once said, with great numbers come great server bills.
Yes. and equipment bills, etc. So patrons are the people that keep us going with all this stuff, because again, their donations really count. So if you want to become a Patreon, please do. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we may even read your name out on a Patreon podcast, which makes you famous for
No, we'll read the names out on the podcast.
read the names out on the podcast, which means
Just where
you're famous
Yeah.
to a lot of people.
Got a name, like to hear it, subscribe.
Want to hear your name read out on a podcast?
We have 101 to go to reach the magic total of 250. So just want to thank the couple of new patrons that have signed up in the last week, Cody and Tom.
Thanks,
Cody.
And
Thanks,
thank you,
Tom.
Yeah, Cody Fang and Tom Curl.
Fang.
Phang.
Ooh.
Says it there.
It's a good name.
It is a good name, but it's a slight letdown. I thought it was going to be like Fang. Is the,
Oh, right, as in teeth.
yeah, slight letdown. Try harder.
Try harder to have a better name.
Right, don't forget, let us know if you want us to do the live blog for the Indy 500 this weekend. Me and Chris will be doing the live blog for the Monaco Grand Prix, for
Yes.
definite. It's going to be sort of slightly drunk blog if we're doing Indy.
Probably very blunt drug. I've already started.
You've started already, and we're still 6 days away from the race.
Yep, that's me.
Just as well, next Monday's a bank holiday. So we'll be back next week with wrap up of Monaco and anything else that crops up in the interim.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So we will see you then.
We will indeed. Thanks for tuning in.
Have a nice week.
Tuning in. Thanks for using your dial-up connection.
Yeah. Don't touch that dial.
Run away.
Go
Run
away.
away now.
I'm going now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.